This week on Uncut Gems with Slim, the most embarrassing thing about my YouTube career is the fact that I currently have 277,000 plus subscribers and I can barely average 5,000 views a video. Uncut Gems with Slim, yeah, that's the name. Hey guys, welcome back for the season finale. Yes, you heard that right. The season finale of season 2 of Uncut Gems with Slim. This series is called Real Life Creators. You guys, I am so excited that you have reached the end of this season with me. When I tell you this season has been A1, chef's kiss, all of the things. Like, this season has been near and dear to my heart, and I hope it has blessed some of you guys out there as well. I'm talking my creators, but not only my creators, but just any listener in general. You could get so much information from listening to this season. So as I thought of different things to talk about, right, for this final episode, I figured since I started this season out with a solo episode and with the creative advice of my producer, that it's only right that I wrap up this season with a solo episode as well. So I was trying to think of, like, what can I share with you guys? How can I be a great encore to all of the amazing guests that I had on the show? And I figured, why not do a combination of like a self-interview, so I have my cue cards, and like reflections of all the different things that I picked up from this season and kind of how I have grown throughout not only being the person on the podcast this season, but also listening to all of the gems and nuggets that people have dropped this season. So my whole idea around doing the Real Life Creator series was to give you guys a look at what it looks like to be a creative in real life. Like, let's get that conversation started for the person who is a creative and they want to really get into doing whatever it is they're passionate about, but also giving them the real life, real deal Holyfield tea about what it actually looks like in those roles. So one of the things I wish I knew when I started as a content creator is that your research can't stop once you get your brand off the ground. Real quick, I just wanted to take a moment and pause and ask, are you subscribed? Make sure you subscribe to us on all podcast streaming platforms and check out the visual on YouTube at Uncut Gems with Slim. Lastly, don't forget we are also on Instagram. Follow us on Insta to get motivational snippets, episode highlights, and so much more. Now, let's get back to today's episode. Like, y'all, when I tell you I wish someone would have told me that, like, we know the algorithm changes and all of those things and trends come and they go, but I, without realizing it, had stopped doing my research. I stopped looking into what works. And like, the things that I did in 2018, whether that is putting tags in the description box of my video, or whether it's like, putting your title in all caps, like, those things that might have worked then ain't working right now. And if I would have continued doing my research, I would have been able to adapt throughout the years and still like really remain relevant and things like that. Because as some of you may know, even if you like just pay attention in general to my YouTube or my Instagram, like literally whatever I've been doing lately hasn't been working, if I'm being completely honest with you. Like, I'm literally losing Instagram followers every day. And I think it's so crazy because you start beating yourself up about, oh my gosh, like, I'm not having the engagement that I used to have and all these things. But at the end of the day, if you're not adapting and changing and continuing to do your research, like, you don't need to blame it on yourself. Blame it on the lack of research that you're doing. Like, make sure you're doing all that you can do in your power to like remain relevant and all of those things. And so with that being said, my next point is that you can't be married to the results. If you're defining your success and your value based on your engagement rate, honey, you are going to be a sad puppy. Because if I look at my engagement rate, y'all, like, it literally is so disheartening. Like, y'all, I am speaking on this because I literally have lived it. And this is one of the reasons why you can't be married to the results. You have to be motivated by the passion. Because if you're passionate about a thing, you're gonna make sure you're putting all your effort into it and producing quality content, or, you know, producing quality products, whatever industry you're in. Like, you wanna make sure you focus on building quality instead of just forking out a whole bunch of things, trying to get that quantity number up, like making sure you're posting however many times a day the algorithm says. But if you're doing that and you're posting like 3 times a day, and all of it is like bare minimum or kind of crappy content, for lack of better words, versus twice a week and it's like A1 content, like that A1 content is gonna stand out more every time, stand out more than like just a generic post that looks like, hey, I'm just posting because Instagram says I need to post, or because TikTok says I need to keep posting to stay relevant. Consistency doesn't mean just posting a ton of things. It means be consistent with putting out quality content. Like, if you're consistently putting out quality content, like that's the kind of consistency a lot of content creators talk about when it comes to like the major key to success on here. Like, if you're putting out 3 lackluster videos and then the 4th video of the month is like a high quality video, then that's inconsistent, and brands might not want to work with you because they don't know if they're getting that high quality content or if they're getting that bare minimum low effort content. So that's what it really means to be consistent when you're trying to grow as a content creator. Another thing that I get asked as a YouTuber is it too late to start a channel? And 9 times out of 10, my answer is always going to be no, because you are one of one. Like, there's only one you, and no one else is going to film the video like you. No one else is going to have the creative mindset that you have, and no one else is going to have the exact same personality that you have. And you can bring that uniqueness to the table and create your own lane, even on a platform that has a lot of users and a lot of mainstream channels. Like, you can still make a path for yourself on YouTube. And I'm gonna stick beside that theory because I truly think like it's never too late to start that thing. And if you believe that you're supposed to make a channel as a part of your purpose or your passion, do it. Like, if you're teeter-tottering and you're listening to this episode, like, do it. If you want to start that business, do it. If you want to, you know, if the Lord tell you to quit your job or whatever, girl, do it. Boy, do it. Like, listen to positive advice from others. And while you at it, go ahead and listen to all the different episodes from this season, because each thing targets important topics for creators. So whether that is financial advice, whether that's how to invest in yourself, whether it's about taking a leap of faith to quit your job and 100% go into your passion, that's what this season was about. And know that there's a space for you and there are resources available to you as well. So don't think like there's nothing that you could do because YouTube was popping in the early 2010s and like there's no way for you to gain a following just because it's 2022. Like, you can do it. So this leads into some of my personal struggles as a YouTuber, and I'm not going to talk about y'all journey. I'm going to talk about mine. And one thing that I learned is so important is timing. God's timing is perfect, whether it seems like it or not. Whether it seems like it's perfect in the natural or not, like, it's on time. Like, he on time God. I'm not playing, and he has a plan for you, and you just have to trust it. And it took me a while to really grip this concept because, like I said earlier, like, it's disheartening to see my engagement rate isn't that high, or, you know, I'm not getting the views and all these things and the likes that I think I deserve, or that the quality of my content deserves. Like, I don't have that exposure that I feel like I should have. And it would be disheartening when I thought of it that way, because it's like, man, like, I spend hours and hours on creating this content, and, you know, 2% of my audience, like a very small percentage of my audience, is watching it. And it's like, dang, like that hurts, right? And I'm gonna be transparent with you guys. Like, the most embarrassing thing about my YouTube career is the fact that I currently have 277,000 plus subscribers, and I can barely average 5,000 views a video. Yes, you heard that right. I can barely average 5,000 views a video, and I have 277,000 plus people who decided to subscribe to my channel because they wanted to see more. And that right there hurts. But also, it's so embarrassing when you're pitching yourself to brands and all these things, because like, it doesn't make sense. Like, if we being honest, it does not make sense. But what I do know is that if God wanted me to average 100K views per video right now in this season, I would. Like, you know, if he wanted to, he will. If he wanted to, he will. If God wanted me to be there, I would be there. And that's on period, because he is the author, okay? And as I was typing my notes for this, like, even though it seems so embarrassing in the natural, and you might be like, dang, like, you might be over there empathetic hurting for me right now, but God still made a way to keep my channel not only profitable, but still securing brand deals for thousands of dollars, even when the numbers on paper doesn't look good. And that's just a testimony to, like, him being a provider. And like, it might not make sense in the natural. The numbers, they say the numbers don't lie. They don't lie, but neither do God. And like, one thing about it is, when I grasped the concept of, you know, if God wanted it to happen, it would be in my hands. Like, if he wanted that for me in this moment, it is so, it would be mine. But to know that that's what's true, I don't have to worry about, you know, what the numbers say right now. I don't have to worry about any of that, because if I was supposed to have it, I would have. And it's straight like that. And that's my mindset. So that might not be your mindset, but maybe it's something you should think about when it comes to, you know, starting your channel, or maybe you've had a successful channel in the past, but as times have changed, like your views drop or whatever, like, have that mindset about it, and that'll keep you motivated, because like, whenever he want to open the floodgates, like, they gonna open and your mind is gonna be blown. But you have to remain faithful, even in the seasons where, you know, you might not see the harvest in front of you. And so, as a curator of this season, I couldn't end this episode without mentioning what I've learned personally this season and what has helped me as a creator in 2022. And so, first and foremost, I cannot wrap this season without giving a huge shout out to Pastor Matt, Asia, Tony, and Angel for helping me produce this entire season. Like, thank you guys. I know you're probably watching this, so thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. Like, Uncut Gems with Slim is a whole production, y'all. Like, this season meant so much to me, and I think the gems dropped surely blessed the creators and listeners watching. And then I also gotta thank my Mama Slim. I gotta thank you, because you set aside the time to help me bring my entire set to a whole nother city just to film one episode. So Mama Slim, I appreciate you, and thank you so much for supporting my vision this season. And last but not least, I also have to thank my creative guests. Like, these super talented people, from Reshae, CJ, Elijah, Micah, Dinar, Kiani, Asia, and Gio, like, you guys have made this season like absolutely amazing. And I couldn't have conveyed such powerful messages without your stories. So not only am I giving my friends their flowers in this moment, but I wanted to bring up a point about how none of this would have ever happened if I didn't ask for their help. So I'm gonna tell y'all a story, and I asked Tony, which is one of the people who helped produce the podcast this season, I asked him for help like with the setup. And we were on the phone, And the question that I had, he could not answer. So he reached out to Pastor Matt. He put Pastor Matt on the phone. And when he did, as I was talking to him through like what I was trying to do, which he had already offered multiple times, he asked me, he said, will you let us help you? And it was so clear, like I heard it so distinct and so clear. And the question shook me because it was so direct. It was so direct. Will you let us help you? That's a yes or no question. It was so direct, y'all. And I was so scared when I agreed. And I was like, yeah, sure. And you know how you normally be like, oh yeah, like, okay, whatever. That's what I was doing, because I'm not used to people, you know, where their word is their bond. Like they show up when you ask them to. I'm not used to that much when it comes to people supporting like my YouTube. Like they're here to clap and cheer for the hoorays and the hurrahs, but like when I'm in the trenches, when I need actual help, like I'm not used to having someone that I can depend on like that. I'm used to doing it all by myself. And as soon as I got off the phone with him, I literally like started crying. Like I started crying out of nowhere, and they probably don't know this, but I literally started crying because it was so hard for me to say yes. And I didn't realize why it was so hard for me to say yes. And I was nervous because that meant, one, there'd be people in the room while I'm filming, and I had never done that before. Usually, all of the podcasts that I've done, all of my YouTube videos have been filmed like today, where there's nobody in the room. And that's what I was used to. That's what I was okay with. I can start and stop if I needed to. If I messed up, it didn't seem like a huge deal because it's just me and the Lord in here. So like, that made me nervous, and it was something I never done. I never had a production team in here while I'm filming. And so like I said, everything about this opportunity was nerve-wracking and uncomfortable. And I know in a previous episode, I'm sure I've talked about how you have to start getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. And one thing I had to learn, that taking my hand off of it and letting someone help me with it was a big thing for me. Like that was new. I wasn't used to it, and it was so impactful. And I think it was such a huge thing because as a self-taught creative, like, or even a new entrepreneur who's used to doing everything on their own, it is hard to give your baby to someone else and ask them to carry it and carry your vision with the same care and caution as you do. And there was no doubt in my mind that it was in good hands, because if y'all don't know, Pastor Matt is literally like a world-renowned producer. Like he actually do this. Like every single person that was in here helping produce learned from him. Like he is top tier chef's kiss. And if y'all want him on a podcast, please say something, because I would love to get him on here and pick his brain. But there was no doubt that it in his hands would have been way better produced than it would have been in my hands. But I was just scared to let it go and scared to let go of that control. So today I'm speaking to the creative who does it all by themselves, who goes ahead and gets it done on their own because they feel like they can't depend on anyone else. You feel as though no one believes in your vision like you do. And I am here to tell you that someone's watching and someone is rooting for you. Like I've been there. I feel oftentimes that I have to do it all on my own. But the truth of the matter is I don't have to, because there's help around me. And I just have to accept it sometimes. And so like if you're operating in purpose, God will send you a village and place you in a community that will be dependable. It's okay to accept help. The friend that you always ask for advice on what pictures to post, or girl, what captions sound better with this picture, that person is there for you. And oftentimes when that person offers help, don't be afraid to accept the helping hand. So one of the last things that I want to share with you guys is more about a tactical solution and a key to your vision that I've kind of picked up throughout this season. Improving my workflows has helped me be more efficient in content creation than I ever had before. Like literally, I've been able to put out this podcast at such a high quality and so many different assets for the podcast because I improved my workflows. You have to find a system that works for you. For me, it's been literally writing stuff down, like writing a to-do list. My girl Leslie Latrice, she used to do it on her Instagram stories. And so I was like, girl, like, can I hop on this with you? Because it's keeping me accountable. When I see her to-do list, I'm like, let me write down what I got to do today. And it kind of keeps me in check and keeps me on task for what I have to do today. And even if I don't post it on Instagram, I've started doing that daily, like on paper, in real life, and it's helped me be more productive. By writing the to-do list, it gives me basic guidelines that I can execute in the order of priority. And I really like that because it allows you to see everything that you have to do or want to do in that day. And then you could just start off at what's most important, what doesn't take you a long time to do, or what takes you a long time to do. Like, it allows you to navigate what you have to do and allows you to be a lot more productive during your day. And another thing, it also helps me not forget stuff. Like, as soon as I think of something I have to do, like, I'll jot it down in my notes on my phone so I don't forget, like, I was supposed to do something today. I always write it down or jot it down in my notes on my phone so I don't forget it. So if you're someone who needs help getting into like a productive flow, I strongly encourage you to try out doing a to-do list and even write down stuff that might seem so small. Like sometimes I write eat breakfast, eat lunch, or take a nap, because even though those are like small things that a normal human probably does on the daily, like if you're busy, sometimes you can work through lunch. You can work saying, oh, I'm gonna get breakfast later, and then next thing you know is 1 o'clock. Like, write down those things too, just so you can really get into that productive workflow. And so lastly, I have a quick commercial break, but it's really the end of the episode. And on Sunday, my pastor, Pastor Travis Green, he said something that was so key for me. And it's so crazy because I feel like this entire season, I've challenged myself to kind of like slow down and get it done. And okay, I have a commercial break to the commercial break. So when the people were delivering like my bed furniture or something like that, this was months ago, it was an older guy and a younger guy working. And the younger guy was like moving really quick, right? And the older guy was like, hold on, slow down. When you are moving fast and trying to finish like quickly, like that's 9 times out of 10 when you scuff the wall or you tap the ceiling or like you mess up something or you break something because you're rushing they were trying to get something up the stairs. Because you're rushing to do that. He's like, just slow down. Like, what we're doing isn't hard. You just gotta slow down, because when you rush to do it, like that's when you might, scuff up the wall or whatever. So this leads into what PT said on Sunday. He said, hurry is the enemy of awareness. And when I tell y'all, that is so true. Like, when it comes to creating content or your business in general, I recommend you to not be in a rush. Don't rush to be successful. Don't rush to put out your first product. Like, don't rush. When you rush, you oftentimes miss things and you skip steps. You also might even do a lower quality job because your focus is on finishing rather than quality control. Focus on pacing yourself during the run instead of focusing on the finish line. And I say that because like I said, you want to produce high quality content. Whatever your first product is, you want to put out a bomb high quality candle. You want to make sure everything from the warning label to the care instructions to your thank you card, like everything you do, you want it to be well thought out and a high quality experience for your consumer. And when you're rushing, you're trying to get it done quickly, sometimes you can miss those small things that make such a big difference. And so back to, like I said, writing my to-do list, that's another thing that you should do when it comes to your vision. So writing your goals down and making it plain. By writing down your goals and your vision, it gives you a target to aim at. And as you move throughout your creative journey and this journey in life, it helps you not lose sight of where you're headed. And another thing, don't forget to refresh your goal list, because just as the algorithm changes, honey, your goals probably will change and shift as you go through this journey called life too. So always make sure you revisit, refocus, adjust where you need to, and then keep aiming towards those goals. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. I know it was a little bit longer, but this season is so near and dear to my heart. Like, y'all, I don't want to let it go. But I hope anything I've said this episode has been a blessing to your ears, and I hope you guys enjoyed this entire season. This is the season finale. I love y'all so much. Thanks for tuning in, and that's a wrap. Uncut.